Hello. As promised, actually, I didn't promise because I don't make promises. I give my word, and my word is my bond, or it should be. Right, so I said I was going to do a video stroke Facebook Live concerning the Meghan Markle fan who called me all manner of names, which included vile, racist, lowlife. And I dispatched him in two moves. The first move was I said, but I am black. But not in that way. I said it according to the language in which he addressed me. Because what I notice with that type of person, a person who jumps in and said, you're racist, you're a homophobe, you're sexist, you're whatever, they don't use punctuation, they don't know how to express themselves properly, either verbally or in the written form. And I was speaking to one of my friends on Twitter, earlier, and I made the point, he agreed with me on something, and I said they all operate at the same frequency. So it's very easy to deal with that type of attention, which I hear about the Meghan Markle fans. I think I've never experienced the kind of abuse that people, that drives people off social media. I've never experienced any of that, but I hear that the Beyonce fans are a bit aggressive as well in that kind of way. So I will tell you now how I got rid. Well, it wasn't so much to get rid of, because I have a slightly sadistic streak, but more playfully so. It only comes out when I want to play, when I meet people like that, and it's playtime. Right, so with this character, we were having, it was a Daily Mail article, and the Daily Mail was producing evidence to say, because it's been accused of racism, and Meghan Markle sued the Mail on Sunday. So it brought forward all the headlines where the paper was actually exposing the haters and the trolls who were going after Meghan Markle. So there was a Jamaican woman, again on the same low vibrational level, who attacked someone, like I said, same frequency. So I went on to her. She didn't come back, actually. I made a comment to her, and it was that comment that this character responded to. So as I said, I dispatched him in two movements. And as I said, the first movement was I said, but I'm black. So in other words, how can I be a racist? Because remember, black people can't be racist because we're downtrodden and so on, and you have to be in a privileged position to be a racist, apparently. Right, so the second movement, and as I said, I've got a slightly sadistic streak. It varies, but so I googled myself, and I pulled up one of the articles, or rather one of the features from the Daily Mail featuring Elizabeth Young, and I just dropped that as a comment, and no response. Zero response. So people might want to know, or rather people would see that, and of course, from that perspective, would argue she's so vain. Look at her putting up articles about herself. Now, I've done a lot of things in media and entertainment, and as well I wrote a book. But for me, none of these things mean anything to me. They're just things that I've done. And I don't dine out on them. They don't add value to me as a human being. But given that I understand the psychology of human beings very well, you know, on all the different levels, I understand the psychology. I study people because, as I said in one of the recent Facebook Lives, YouTube videos, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, aka demons. Right, so it's all on a spiritual level. And the advantage that I have is that I am not connected with my feelings and emotions. And people would immediately think there is something wrong with me. There is absolutely nothing wrong with me, but there is something right with me. What I did was, I've said this so many times, I do self-development. I've been practicing self-development for a very, very, very long time, decades. And the whole point is to conquer yourself. So if it be that my feelings and emotions are going to bind me down so that I too develop victim mentality, or I respond to the things that people say to me or try to do to me, then I've got a problem. They win. So I know that the majority of people, in fact everybody, doesn't matter what level they're at, are subject to their feelings and emotions. So somebody in a position of seniority, someone who perhaps would be viewed as privileged, all I need to do is I just need to pull out something that I've done, one of my achievements, and that somehow it has the impact to silence them. So I use strategically the things that I've done. At some point I will come out and I will go through each one and I will say why I did that particular thing. So for example, I was in one of the Harry Potter films, and I know people are obsessed with media, TV, celebrity and all of this kind of thing. So if I want to change a line of conversation, or I want to get if I want to have my way in a certain area, I will just pull out the relevant one. So it might be, as with the case with Simon Cowell, it was oh, you look really young for your age kind of thing, because I'm not going to say he's vain, but I do know that he's concerned with his looks and his appearance. So that one works for him. So with someone else it might be, I was in a Harry Potter film. Oh really, which one? And they will go and they will find it, because you actually see me on the screen. And for somebody else, it might be, obviously for me, I've got not just the sadistic streak, but I have a wicked sense of humor also. So it amuses me, the idea that someone's trying to attack me on a Daily Mail article, and I can go and Google myself and pull up a Daily Mail article featuring me, and I can drop that in the comment. That just kills people. Right, so those are some of my weapons, some of the more obvious ones, and there is nothing that anybody can do about it, because, as I said, they are governed by their feelings and emotions. And this is why somebody like Meghan Markle, who features heavily in the newspaper, she is nothing. People would say, obviously, because it's either two things: you're either racist or you're jealous, if you have anything to say about Meghan Markle. So on my part, I don't know. So, well, this fool called me a racist, so it's gonna be either I'm racist, but more usually 99.9% of the time it's because I'm jealous. Now, there is nothing about Meghan Markle to make me jealous. The reason being, as I've just said in a roundabout way, external things are not what define me. So she can have all the money in the world, she can have all the titles in the world, she can be married to the prince, she can have as lavish a lifestyle as she wants. Whatever it is that she's got, none of these things are things that I aspire for as a means to my happiness. So, and as well, I've met many famous people in my time, and I've even got some of them in my on my phone that I could ring up if I wanted to, but I don't. Right, but so I have been around famous people and so forth, but I just treat them as normal people. So I don't get starry-eyed and think, oh my gosh, there's so and so. They're just human beings. And if you don't aspire, or if you don't value, like for example David Beckham, people would look at him and think, oh, I wish I could meet him. Oh, he is so fantastic. Just because he's famous, or he was a famous football player. And for me, people are just people. So somebody like Meghan Markle, she doesn't have any, she wasn't a great actress anyway. So what does she bring to the table that I should be jealous of? Right? But that is how people look at things. And so basically it's their weaknesses that I use to destroy them. And I said in one of the previous videos that you can bring 10 to 100 people against me simultaneously, all wanting to attack me, and we would have the same outcome, because I know where they're coming from. As I said, they're all on the same frequency. They're weak. So that is why I use the article from the Daily Mail, because people are going to think, oh my gosh, she's been in the paper. For me, that was no big deal. Right, so I'm somebody who could be, if I wanted to, be chasing fame. I don't need fame. The other thing, if people were to Google me, because this one is fun. Again, this appeals to my sadisticness. Is it the correct term? I'm sadistic. My sadistic nature, that's it. And my dark sense of humor. So I know that people perhaps would go and do a search and they would find me on Twitter. She's only got 25 followers. Or they'd go on YouTube, she's only got 50 followers. Subscribers. Right? So I know that people are going to do that. And it's a massive slap in the face when you turn to them and say, but I'm not in the business of gathering followers or subscribers. I do what I do, and I put it out there. And if whoever wants to read it, in the case of Facebook, fine. If they want to read it, they don't. When I put the videos up on YouTube, if people want to watch it, then that's fine. If they don't, they don't. Now, when you have that kind of attitude, nobody has power over you. It is when you see people, you will see headlines of people killing themselves, for example. Killing themselves because they didn't get enough likes. They don't have enough followers. Whatever, small things like that. So when people want to come and talk to me about mental health, and I say a lot of it is manufactured, a lot of these modern day ailments that people are suffering from that come under the banner of depression and mental health, it is simply because people have never taken the time to teach their children what a correct value system. Right, so I've said this, I wouldn't pander to anybody from the perspective of this person has got low self-esteem, this, that, whatever, because you don't actually do them any favors when you have the attitude towards them. If you care about people, I'm not saying that my model is the best way to follow. You put things out there and you leave it for people to find it. You don't go and try and ram it down their throat. The last post that I've put on Facebook is about Candace Owens. And there are very few things that people can say to me that I find offensive. But one of them is to be compared to Candace Owens, right? Because people assume, they assume that because I say what I say, and I am the way that I am, or I come across the way that I come across, you're just like Candace Owens. I find her highly offensive. I'm nothing like Candace Owens. I am not a grifter. And people would say to me, what do you mean she's a grifter? Well, there's a passage that is very relevant to today concerning false prophets. Even the very elect, were it possible, will be deceived, because there will be people coming, preaching things that are pleasing to people's ears, and they will take them on board and say, this is a good person, this person has my best interest at heart, I'm going to make this person my leader, I'm going to follow this person. Again, like I said, I'm not in it for subscribers or followers. So she's written an article for the Daily Mail. Surprise, surprise, because like Meghan Markle, she's married to a white Englishman. And so she's picked up the subject. She's just had a child, and she's a son just like Markle, and she's just picked up the conversation about how everybody was asking her what colour the child is going to be, what colour his eyes are going to be, this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. And all it is, I've said this before, she's like a parasite, where she attaches herself to whichever woman is making the news. And at the moment, there's no bigger name in the news than Meghan Markle. So this is her second attempt. This is the second time she's had a go at her. She was seen also at one point attacking, well, I won't say attack, I'll say she was on the back of Cardi B. And then another time it was what's her name? Miley Cyrus's sister, I don't know her name. Right? So it's like, surprise, surprise, why do you keep hitching onto these women? It's because you're trying to make yourself relevant. Because there's nothing going on for her right now in the political field. She's burned herself out on the well, as some people say, I won't say it, because people have accused me of attacking black people, which is not what I do. I try to educate people, right? So, but I don't do it for money. That's the difference. So I think she's run her course there. So it's sort of trying to make herself to stay relevant, if you like, by parasiting on the back of others. On the Facebook post, I said, I do not operate under the policy of my enemy's enemy is my friend. If you're a piece of rubbish, you're a piece of rubbish. And I've said, to me, she's no different to Meghan Markle. A grifter is a grifter. It's just how you go about it. And so why am I saying this? Because the bottom line is, like, at the moment, women are running scared. I'll come back to that in a second. But as you can see, I've got my phone in my hand. I'm walking around in Croydon, as I do when I'm doing these videos on my way to the shop. And I'm in no fear that someone's going to snatch my phone from my hand, because I don't walk around or live in fear. So at the moment, the big, I haven't sort of like looked into this properly. I'm only hearing bits. But at the moment, the fear campaign is that women must be scared of men, of policemen. And I know when a thing is engineered. I can tell just by going on Facebook, because everybody, that's what they're posting about. It was the same with Grenfell Tower. You can go through, there are loads of different things that have been like big news stories. And when you don't even need to follow the news, you don't need to know the news. You just need to look and you see people posting about it. And you can say, okay, this is, I'm not going to say a psyops or anything, but you know that, thank you, you know that this is engineered to get people thinking in a certain way. Now, because I don't watch TV, I don't pay attention to the media as such, all of these things go over my head. So if you like my eyes are slightly wider open than your average person functioning at a lower level, the lower frequency. So whereas everybody thinks the sky is falling down and there's a policeman on every corner, I'm gonna be grabbing women and holding them to the ground and chucking them in the back of vans for violating the rules of coronavirus and lockdown. These things don't even enter my mind, right? So in the same way, so like I said with what's her name, Candace Owens, when I go and I'm saying what I say about Meghan Markle and about Candace Owens, and automatically people at the lower level are going to think you're jealous, you're a hater, whatever. All I can say is I'm just doing my job. There's a passage of scripture. It says, every man who has been warned, it is for him to warn his neighbor. I'm just putting things out there because, like I said, I live in this world and I need it to work for me. Right? So I've got my freedom at the moment. At the minute, nobody's saying to me, you've got to stay in your house. You can't go out. You've got to do A and you've got to do B. Right? I was saying to someone last night, actually, that the reason why we are where we are is because everybody played along. If people hadn't played along, we wouldn't be where we are. I don't play along. I always follow my conscience. Not even my conscience. Sometimes there are just things that I can't do. Right, there's this guy coming out the car now. He's wearing a mask. It's just absolutely something I couldn't do. Because if I don't feel it, then I can't do it. So it's not a matter of pride or anything. It's just you have, I don't know, there are various, but like I said, I've been doing the spiritual development thing for many, many, many years, for decades. And you get to a point where you can, it's a bit like the old tale of the boiled frog. Yeah, like for me, I only need to see the water to know that I don't need to test it out to see whether it's gonna burn me or not, whether it's safe to get in it or not. But this is something that you have to apply yourself to it. Be ye therefore perfect. People might argue and say, "Oh, you think you're better than other people." In some ways, it's not that I think I'm better than other people, but yes, I am better from the perspective that I put the effort in with regards to developing myself on the different levels, namely mentally, spiritually, and physically. Right, so I'm here, I'm walking around, I'm actually getting exercise. I've actually walked further than I need to, but I'm getting some exercise in. But that is what I really wanted to say. While we're looking at people like Candace Owens and saying, I like this woman, she's good, she's saying it right because she's married to a white man like Meghan Markle and she's got a baby that's biracial, and this is her experience. What I say, wolves in sheep clothing, that is just when I say I detest, I'm talking about what they stand for. I've said I don't take people seriously, but in a public environment, when people are putting things out there, and people are just blindly grabbing at it, and you know what's funny? A lot of black people hate Candace Owens because she talks against black people, whereas a lot of black people love Meghan Markle, because she talks to them in the language that they want to hear. She talks to them she comes as a victim. The other one, Candace Owens, doesn't come as a victim. Nevertheless, they're the same. There's the same two different faces of the same coin. But because, again, it's this thing people want to hear, they will listen to people if they're telling them what they want to hear. For me, even if somebody is saying what I agree with, it doesn't mean that I view them as somebody who is a good person. If somebody is saying something that I don't agree with, it doesn't necessarily mean I view them as a bad person. And so it's the thing about choosing our messengers. For me, the best way to find out which way to go in life, the correct path, is to go about it yourself. It isn't to go and find people who are saying the same thing as you and attach to them, or to persecute someone who seems to be saying the wrong thing. It is about going and finding out for yourself. So when I come and I post what I post, I'm not asking anybody to agree with me, but you're welcome to disagree with me if you like. You can attack me as much as you like, that's fine. I'm just putting it out there, and it is for the individual. As I said, the saying is, for every man who has been warned, it is up to him to warn his neighbor. I'm just doing my job, and I put things out there, and I'm not peddling anything. I'm not putting anything out there asking anybody to like, share and subscribe. I don't need to be popular until such a time as Facebook and YouTube decide to kick me off. That's fine. I don't actually need to do anything that I'm doing now. So, hold on, I don't want to die. There's a big truck coming. I don't know, I'll go behind. I don't actually need to do what I'm doing. So like I said, just going back to the point where I googled myself and put the link up. Some people, based on where they come from their perspective, they would look, oh look, she's trying to promote herself, she's showing off something. No, what I'm doing is I know how to get into people's heads, how to shut them down. And so when you have people being driven off social media because of the Meghan Markle fans, the Beyonce fans and all of that, these people come from the lowest level, that sort of like lower than a snake's belly kind of thing. And the reason why they force people off social media is because these people have nothing, even very famous people. And because their fame obviously isn't enough. Their credentials, their worldly credentials, isn't enough to drive people away. And yet here I am with my 25 Twitter followers and my 50 YouTube subscribers, and I can like I said, 10, 100, send them along. I can dispatch all of them because I know how to get into their heads. So the point being, even the biggest celebrity, the most major celebrity, for all their money, for all their fame, for all their status in the world, they have no defenses. As I said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, and the fight is a spiritual fight. So obviously if you're running away and you're feeling suicidal or depressed or whatever, then you gotta think about it. I'm not saying you personally who's listening to this. I'm just saying in general, instead of trying to tell people like me to be kind, because you can't police people, you can't tell people what they should and shouldn't do. What you need to do is to encourage people to build their own strength. I had someone try to have a conversation with me yesterday. She supports the, we mustn't say, like with Meghan Markle, where she said she had mental health issues, and I laugh at that because it's a pile of garbage. Again, because I understand human nature, and people would say, oh no, but you can't say that because maybe it's true. It's not true, right? So the individual wanted to chat to me, so I said I don't want to actually have a conversation with you because it's going to be low energy, and I don't engage in low energy conversation with people. And I speak to people plainly to people plainly like that whenever they approach me from whatever level they're coming from. If it's not the same level, it's got to be somewhere where it's not going to be a negative conversation where someone's trying to persuade me to see things from their perspective, because I have, and it's not so much that my views are correct, whether they are or not, that's neither here nor there. It's from the perspective that I don't actually need to engage with anyone. I don't need people around me. I don't need people in my life. So whoever wants to be my friend, hi, you're right. Whoever wants to engage with me, they have to come and meet my terms and conditions. And people will say, but how can you be like that? I can absolutely be like that because I hold the cards. If I don't need you and you need me, then you have to meet my standard. And this is my attitude towards people in society. I don't care that they're weak. It's not my problem if people are weak and having emotional and mental health problems, because this is what they've been encouraged to become in society, weak, right? It is not my problem, and I will not lower myself to accommodate them. I'm not going to drop my standards or, like I said, be kind to anybody when it is because they've embraced, or like I said, with this current fear that they're spreading, women mustn't be walking around the street. There are policemen out there potentially wanting to kill us, right? It's not going to stop me from doing what I do, right? So if people want to latch on to the different methods that are sold to them in media by politicians, celebrities, it's okay to be mentally ill because every other celebrity has got a mental health issue. If people want to latch onto that, and then you're going to come across somebody like me and you're going to expect me to be kind, that's going to be your worst nightmare potentially, because I'm not going to be kind. I'm going to be who I am, and if you can't cope with it, that's your problem. So there will come a time in society, this might sound really harsh what I'm saying now, but there will come a time when they're not going to be any do-gooders. It's going to be every man for himself. Everybody's going to have their own problems that they need to deal with, and then what's going to happen, right? So for me, my job is to make sure that I'm the leanest, strongest, fittest fighting machine, and I mean from a spiritual perspective, because like I said, the war is spiritual. Everything is spiritual, right? So for me, that's my job, to make sure that I can defend myself, and by attaching myself to the things that are being promoted in society, that would be me disarming myself. So I see people latching on and thinking that they can survive life by demanding that others should be kind, with this cancel culture, thinking that if we shut this person down, if we ban them from social media, then all will be well. No, you're still going to be that same weakling, and when the time comes and you need to defend yourself, you won't be able to do it. Nobody's going to be around to do it. It's the oil and lamp thing, the parable of the virgins. You're not going to be able to, when you run out of oil, you're not going to be able to find people who will be willing to give you any of their oil. So if you haven't sort of taken the time to build up your reserves, that's your problem. So this is where we are really. So like I said, going right back to the top of what I was saying with this guy, comes along, don't know him from anywhere, and he's called me a vile racist, low life, something else, right? Because that's what they do, that's their level. And yet these are the types of people that we're supposed to pander to and kneel for in society. So I am going to wind up right here now, and I bid all of you a good night. I said plenty there. I'm not asking anybody to think about anything that I've said or to take anything on board. I've just said it, and I will put it out there. I'm going to upload this to YouTube when I get back, and it is what it is, and you take from it what you want. But this is my position in life, and I think instead of mellowing, I'm just gonna get worse. When I say worse, I'm rougher, tougher, stronger. But that's how you gotta be if you want to survive the journey, for what's coming. All right, so you guys, you look after yourself. See you later. Bye bye.